Flosstube. My name is Christina. This is my first Flosstube. So it'll be WIP parade, some of the things I finished from this past year thereabout, an introduction, and WIP parade, which is something a lot of people are doing here in January. Okay, so my name is Christina, which I've already said. I live here in Sweden, in an apartment with my wonderful husband. I have a son and I have a dog. Probably won't make an appearance because he is lounging on the sofa enjoying the sun. My son is off camera and he'll be helping me out, passing me WIPs and then helping me edit this video, hopefully. I think that'll be it for introductions. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below. So I guess we'll start with some of the finishes to show you kind of what I like to stitch. So my most recent finish is from the Cricut collection, which I have not FFO'd, and that is January, which is kind of sad that I haven't finished it. Since it is January, it would be nice to display it. It is on 40 count, honey and milk, it's from a German dyer, hand dyed, Honigmilde, Newcastle linen from Leonora Craft. It's been it's lovely to work on, so I'm going to collect all the Cricut collection months and do them all on 40 count. Then I have the Normandy SR2, but I have made some changes. It's from the Griffin Wing Workshop. It has been done on 32 count even weave from Coffee Craft. I need to weave in the ends on the back still. And it was finished the 7th of December last year. I had restarted it the 14th of September last year while I was at a retreat. And if I'm looking down, it's because I have everything in my lovely journal where I have everything. And the biggest change that I made to this fabric is that it is charted as the original SR2. So wherever there is blue on the original pattern, it was meant to be orange because it is from the game Mass Effect. And in the second game, where you get the SR2, you work for a organization called Cerberus, and their colors are orange and black. But I do not support them. I am an Alliance fan through and through, so I changed them to be the Alliance colors. And if you know, you know, I guess. Next one I don't have in my journal. This is from the Witchy Stitcher, and it is the quote from the amazing grandma in Ukraine, where she told the Russian soldier, "Put the sunflower seeds in your pocket so they grow when you die." And it was amazing fun to stitch, not FFO'd, of course. Why would I do that? And FFO is fully finished object. Then I have plans to have up on my wall all the places me and my family have been as a family. And well, we live here in Sweden, but we do travel a lot in Sweden. The main change that I did to this pattern, which I can't remember where it's from an Etsy shop, was Öland, which is here, is an island, and on the chart there was no gap, so it wasn't charted as an island. So I just excluded some green stitches, so it actually became an island. And then from the same shop on Etsy, I have Greece. My family and I went to Rhodos when my son was quite small. So we've been to Greece. And those are all my finishes so far. So next we'll get into WIPs, and WIPs is works in progress. And I have notes for all of them, and from what I can tell, let's see. So at the start of last year, I had 22 WIPs. I'm not sure how many I have going in this year, but I guess we'll tell. I finished 9 WIPs. I had started 9, so I technically should be around 22. I had quite a lot of plans and goals for last year, but they were a bit much. So after my WIPs, I can show you my journal and what I have for goals this year, and my WIPGO plans for this year, and how I keep track of everything, and I can show you my journal spreads where I have everything written down, so I remember and keep on track. Okay, so let's see. So everything has been unzipped, so we shouldn't have any issues with that. So I'll grab this and then give it to you, and you can put it over there on the side, okay? So this first WIP is from Heaven and Earth Designs. It is called, the design is called Kakomu, and it is by my favorite artist, Margaret Morales, and this is what it will look like. Ooh. Let's do it the other way around then. Put these back in there, and we will add. So this is what it'll look like when finished, when I actually finish it. And this was started on the 1st of August. It is on a 25 count even weave. I don't have the percentage that it's done here, but I have 2 full page finishes and the entire top row done the first 20 stitches, because I was trying out the Royal Rose method, and as you can see, it has quite a lot of sparkle, and that is all Krynic, the white that's sparkly. And I I did not touch this at all last year, so I should probably get back to this. But I will show you in my plans how I plan to actually do that this year. And these will not be in order. There is a huge pile over here to the side, and nothing is in chronological order. So this next WIP is called Autumn Raccoon. It is from Tilton Crafts, and the artwork is from Amazing Grace Media. And this one was started in December 2023. I don't have the exact date written down. And this is what it will look like when it is finished. This is on a 28 count even weave, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. And this is what I have done so far. It is almost a page finish. I have it in a bag I made myself. Then we have this one I don't have picture for, so I will insert that afterwards. My son will figure it out. I do know what pattern this is, and that is it is called Dine Your Dreams from Contemporary Cross. It is done 1/1 full cross on 25 count even weave. I had originally started this on black 28 count even weave, so I didn't have to do all the black in the pattern, but I ended up making a lot of mistakes. I was unable to figure out which color was where, so I restarted it on the 3rd of February 2024 on white, and I could then see all the colors, and it is a lot of black, but I'm happier with it now. I have one page finished, and this is going to be a gift for my sister when it is eventually finished. And this is what I have so far. And the artist's name is Stefan Keudel. So the next one is from Unconventional Cross Stitch. The artist is Echo Chernik, and it is the Goddess of Coffee. And this I had started in the wrong place, so I had to restart it on the same fabric. And it is done on 28 count even weave, started the 5th of December 2023, And I have the first page finished. This one, there is mistakes, so I've fudged a bit, but you can't really tell unless you know what I've made a mistake on. This is what I have so far. And it's quite low on the fabric, not because I gave myself that much margin, but because over here is where her feathers will go up above this sort of border here. So there are feathers of her headdress, of the goddess's headdress, which I forgot to take into account on the first start that I did. So I had to restart it. And the next one is one of my chatelaines. I have two on the go. They're on the same fabric type. One is meant for me to keep, and one is for my sister. She paid for all the materials, and I would stitch it for her. And this one is the Japanese garden one. Or is it the Zen moss? Okay, so this is the Japanese Zen moss garden mandala from Chatelaine, and I got every special floss and bead kitted up for me from European cross stitch company. It cost a pretty penny to do that, but it was in the end cheaper than finding everything here in Europe. And it is a lot. It is quite a bit of floss and beads and treasure braids. It's a lot. And I don't have a lot. But this one is for me. And the other one that I am stitching is for my sister. And this is my start so far. And it has silks already into it, and treasure braids, and so this is the centerpiece, the very center tile, and here will be like a stone garden design that goes all the way around. And this I started in May last year. It is done on 28 count even weave, started the 19th of May 2024. And the other one I have on the go is just Japanese garden, and this is going to be for my sister. And I have more done on hers than I do on mine, or it looks that way anyway. There are specialty stitches galore in this, and I have managed to get both of these center parts at least into markup RXP, which is what I use for my stitching. And this is her start. And this was started on the 1st of May, 2024. And this was also kitted up from European Cross Stitch. However, it is a lot less specialty threads and beads, so it is just this little bundle. But they are fun to work on. They seem daunting, but it's not so bad once you just take a breath, take your time, and don't stress. So, the next one, this bag, is a fandom stitch again. I like to stitch fandom stitch. This is from Atomic Tiki Pin. She is on Facebook and she's also on Etsy. This is the 80s movie night Sal. It is done on 28 count navy even weave. I have not put in when I started it. I'm doing this 2/2. I have not done the back stitching yet, but my plan is to, on the original design, she has the centerpiece and then you have one border of different movies. I want to do 2 borders because with the extra bonus packs she's released, she has quite a few movies that I grew up with and that I cherish. So I want to put all of those movies into it. So we'll see if I can fit them all, but that is my plan. And this is what I have so far. You can kind of see the 80s logo there. It needs some back stitch so it'll look like neon lights. This is made from a tote bag I got from the Rammstein concert when it was in Gothenburg, here in Sweden, when I went with my husband. This is from Pink Lily Designs, I think. I haven't written down the entire name, if it's Pink Lily Designs or Pink Lily Stitches. I love her patterns, how they look, but I think she runs them through a pattern making software, and I don't think she cleans the patterns up after that. So it has a lot of confetti, and if it's for a pattern that is meant to be quite pixelated, like the one I'm doing, it's called Garden Pier. I have a photo, actually. I'm going to pause and go grab that. Okay, so I have a very boring white binder, and in my binder I have patterns I've bought. I have patterns that I have started and what I've finished, and I have a few patterns, choice patterns that I want to start that are kitted up and ready to go. I'll show you those later in plans. But the ones I have started. So this is Flower Garden Pier, and what it will look like when it is finished. And it is meant to be like very pixelated, but when you stitch it, it is confetti nonsense. And to me, if it's supposed to be pixelated, it doesn't necessarily have to have that many colors in the pattern. You don't it's not necessary for it to have 10 different shades of dark brown, for example, in between the boards, for example, of the pier, up here, for example, where I'm stitching. These dark brown lines are maybe 7 or 8 colors, which to me doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be a pixelated pattern. It could be just one color and it doesn't matter. So I have 2 patterns from her. I'm in her Facebook group, and I would seriously reconsider if I was to do more of her patterns. I would probably rechart them myself. I have the Stitchly app, so I could take her patterns and what she has charted and probably make them a lot simpler and to achieve the design look that I'm looking for and the ease of which I think it needs. It doesn't need a lot of confetti. But this is what I have done so far. And as you can see from all of the part threads, it uses a lot of color. And the needle minder is from Stitch Bunny, Cross Stitch Bunny shop. She was vending at the Essex Needles Retreat, which I will be attending next September. So I got a few needle minders from her. I also got a few from Blushing Pink, but those vanished somewhere. I don't know where. Okay, so this next pattern is also from Tilted Crafts. It is Christmas Ornament 3, and the artwork is from Hello My Print, and this is what it'll look like when it is done. I have chosen to take out the background white, so I will just do the ornament. And with Markup RXP, I can go in, choose which stitches are actually going to be stitched and exclude everything else if I want to, which means I get a more accurate percentage and stitch count. I had started this on 28 count coffee dyed fabric by myself, 2/1 tent. I have since abandoned that nonsense idea, and I will be restarting it because I can't see what I'm stitching. I can't see what color goes where. So this is what I have so far. Just not a lot. It's bad. Nothing wrong with the pattern. It's not for me, the 2/1/10, not on that count anyway. I have plans to restart it. I haven't decided what I will do the next time I restart it, but it is in a bag made by me. You can see it is vinyl front. It's patchwork on the inside. Next one is also fabric. Pretty plain on the inside. So this next pattern is a full coverage piece, technically speaking. It is called Mermaids, and the designer is Igor Kravtsov. The illustrator is Michelle Alexandrova, and it is from WIPGO on Etsy. And I really love this design. It is mermaids, but it's not like the pretty mermaids that you usually see in like Fancy Ladies or the cutesy ones that a lot of designers do. So this is kind of more horror, I guess you would say. So yeah, this is what it will look like when it is finished. On this one, I restarted. I had messed up somewhere in my first attempt. I don't know where, and I just couldn't be bothered figuring out where I went wrong. So I just restarted it, same fabric. The fabric is DMC's Star Sapphire Linen 28 count. I restarted it the 6th of January this year. And this is what I have so far. And here is where the first mermaid's face will start to come in. And this, I think, is where the sail in the background of the ship is. And this is her hair. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's with both half cross, full cross. It uses a different number of threads for the colors to give more depth. And I really like that. And this one, I know is at like 6%, and I use Saga app for this one. So it takes into consideration half, full cross, any kind of stitches, but also back stitching. And since I haven't done any back stitching, well, it's 6 point something percent anyway. Yeah, a lot of fun. Love that app. I hope more companies use it, especially if you happen to include backstitch on your pattern. So this is also really good. And so this is a half cross pattern, or this is a pattern that I've recently started. It will be something I do throughout the whole year. I am obsessed with it. I really love the image. It is the Hade 2025 Stitch Along, titled Jelly World. And I started this on the 28th of December last year. It was sent out on the 27th. I, however, hadn't planned on it being sent out early, so I hadn't gotten my fabric ready or any of my floss or anything. So I was not prepared, but c'est la vie. So this is the pattern, what it will look like when it is finished. And I love jellyfish, and this was amazing. And so I knew when I saw it, I had to take part. And my goal for this year, for this pattern, is 50%, but at least 6 pages, so I can get the other Heaven and Earth design patterns that were a part of the SAL. And this is being done 2/1 tent on a 22-23 count Hardanger fabric. And it's not like complete coverage, but it's good enough for now, and when it washes it'll puff up a little the threads, so it'll be fine. But this is what I have so far, and I think it's amazing. And yeah. And that stays out, so I don't have to give it off to my son. So this is a really bad bag I made from a tote bag from Comic-Con here in Stockholm that we had one year, and it holds everything. It was, I don't remember which year it was from when we went, and it's really bad, but it holds everything for my memorabilia. So this is the inside, and the back says, capes optional, kindness required. And I have chosen to kit up the DMC separate for this one, even though it's really expensive in Europe. But I just could not be bothered in case there was any kind of dye lot issues or anything like that. So I decided to kit it up. I have my one Krynic, which is glow in the dark, which is used for her lamp only. And I have one Karen water lily, which is titled Ink. And yep, this is used in her dress and not her hair, which I thought originally. And the memorabilia I'm talking about is called Nightingale. And my sister, which I have several other projects that I'm stitching for, she is a nurse herself who has been diagnosed with bipolar. She has been getting a lot of help recently for that, so she is doing really, really well. So, and I love this pattern anyway. We'll see if I actually give it to her or not. We'll see what she feels like or if I want it. But this is not, I am not using this pattern, paper pattern at all. I have instead transferred it into Stitchly. So I went one by one and checked off all the beads except for the bugle beads, which were not in the app. So those I need to actually go back to the physical chart to stitch them when it is actually time to stitch them. But otherwise I have charted it into Stitchly, including the errata of what had to be changed in the pattern. And I know I have quite a decent chunk of her done, and with Stitchly it also tells you the progress you have on a pattern, including backstitch if you have charted it into the pattern. And I do park, so I have to mind threads. I have not I've not beaded or done any backstitch yet. There is not a lot of backstitch in the dress. It is mostly just cross stitch and beads, a lot of beads. The fabric is 28 count even weave, hand dyed by myself, and I started this in 2023 at some point. And the needle minder is also from the Essex retreat from last year, from a lovely lady from the US who came and had them for everyone who was there. And it says Bad Bitch Club, so if you don't like swearing, just ignore that. This is not ironed. I probably should have taken it out of the hoop, but sooner, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But this is what I have so far. This is all the way to the edge of her dress on the other side. And from here, it'll start to go up into her body and the lamp. And I am almost at the bottom-most edge of her dress here. Down there. Yeah. But she looks really good, and I am very happy that I'm doing her on this like pink and purple and blue pastel-y fabric. It's not a lot of modeling, so it's not too busy, but I just thought I didn't like how it looked on the green fabric, and I wanted something else, and I think it pops quite well on this fabric. So I am very happy with that. So far it is stitched with Krynic, a navy blue, and all the called for DMC. I have not gotten to start with the silk just yet, but it is starting to come into the chart where I am at, so hopefully I'll get to start that soon. So this is a bag that I bought at the Essex Needles Retreat. It is made by Stitch-A-Ma-Jig, which is on Instagram and also on Etsy. This is her bag, the back. It is beautiful. And I'll take my project out. And the inside is embroidered. It is gorgeous. And in this bag, appropriately enough, I have a pattern that I have decided I want finished and this year, and my goal is to have this finished by the next Essex Needles retreat, so I can show it finished, because I started this at the last Essex Needles retreat, and I have done a bit of backstitching as I go, so some of it is done, some of it is not done, but it is a beautiful, beautiful pattern that I fell in love with when it was shown by Laura at I Stitch Birds. And the pattern, when it is finished, the pattern is called After the Rain, and it is made by WIPGO Stitch. You can find her Boosty, but also she does have an Instagram account. I don't think she's very active there, but she does have some of her stitches on there. And this is what it will look like when it is finished. And I have everything done until the water here. The lighthouse, the clouds, the sky, the birds, the little house attached to the lighthouse is all done, including backstitch. And the fabric I have dyed myself. And this is on a 28 count even weave, and it was started on the 13th of September last year. And this is what I have done so far. And it is with full cross, half cross, blends, backstitch. Yep. And I am at 38% so far, but it is so much fun to work on that it goes quite fast once I actually work on it. I know, let's see, I think it is at, 38 point something percent. Yep. So this next one is a sal I started a long time ago, and it is it a tongue tiki? No, so this is from Autumn Lane Stitchery, and this is their Dark Queen of the Earth stitch along, and it is done on 16 count opalescent Ada, dyed by Chromatic Alchemy. You cannot get fabric from them anymore. They have stopped dyeing, unfortunately, because it is amazing and beautiful. And I've gotten quite far. And this is what it looks like so far. I have started in on the part that goes here, which will be reminiscent of this side over here. done with all the called for floss. And this was started on the 12th of November 2022. It is not slotted for a finish this year. This next one, I have started it. I have, however, made a big boo-boo. So I need to restart it. And since I'm restarting it, I'm going to restart it on even weave and not on Ada, so where it's not stitched, it'll look nicer. But this is the big Sakura Fuji by Riolis. This is what it will look like when it is finished. Okay. There are some companion pieces to this one. I do not own them, but they are on my wish list, so should I get them, I will also convert them to even weave. And the amazing Laura has helped me get this as a saga file, so I can do it digitally. But I was stitching along, and I then realized, when I had done quite a bit of the lake, that I have it oriented upside down. So where I started, I probably started in the right direction, but if I was to continue up here with Fuji Mountain, I counted and I would end right here, just below the selvage, and I would have, from the bottom of the pattern, I would be ending here, I think. So I had like several inches down. So yeah, and a big boo-boo. So I will restart that at some point when it gets cold. But I'll show you what I mean later. And this is done all with the anchor floss, which I have converted to floss drops. And this is a birdie bag. Birds. So this is also from a tote bag originally, from a concert my husband and I attended last summer. And the band has an event which they call Dalhalla Brinner. And it is an amazing scene in Dalarna, which is an old quarry, which is no longer used as a quarry. So instead they have a scene, and in the summer they have opera outside in the open air, and it's just amazing scenery there. We went to see my husband's favorite band, which is the Swedish band In Flames. I'm not a huge fan, but he wanted to go and didn't want to go by himself, so I said sure. So he decided to splurge and got VIP tickets, which was a good thing, because we had a roof and no umbrella, no poncho, no rain clothes, and it poured the entire concert. All the pre-bands, everything. It just rained and rained and rained. So we stayed there in the VIP area, had some cider, and watched the whole concert kind of at an angle, but we were dry, which was the main thing. And this is one of my also oldest WIPs. It is the Gone to Pieces pattern from Long Dog Samplers. I have all the black completely done. There may be a bit of black backstitching that I need to do in the puzzle pieces after I have filled them in. And I did one block with a Karen floss that said it was meant for 18 count, which is what I have, but it is chunky. So I decided against using that same floss anywhere else, but I am using Karen water lilies instead in each of the different puzzle pieces. And I have 2 completed puzzle pieces completely filled in. And the needle minder is also from Cross Stitch Bunny. And it says probably reading fantasy smut novels, which is the best thing to read, I think. And this is what I have so far. And down at the bottom is the water lily called Scheherazade. And at the top is called Moonglow. It is a very light blue variegation. And kind of like a purpley blue. And Scheherazade is with purple and yellow, orange tone, and gray. As it looks like. And I have decided that each block will have its own color, including like the small ones that only stick out a little bit, like here with this little bunny. It's not a big puzzle piece, but I'll do it as its own color. And down here, this one and this one. Not sure if I'll do those as like maybe the same, but probably 2 different ones. Yeah. A lot of threads to weave in from all the black. I was really bad at doing it while stitching. And I didn't know how to weave them in at the time, so I just kind of left them. And some of the other colors. Oh, and I started this. So I started this on the 28th of September, 2022. Some of the other water lilies I have so far to stitch is this one. And it is called, it is Umbria. And then I have Cherry, which matches my sweater today. And Tequila Sunrise. And Bermuda Reef. This next pattern has such a bad, teeny tiny little start. I started this as part of an advent that I made for myself 2 years ago, so 2023, to start a lot of different patterns and whatnot. And one of the patterns that I was going to start is titled Japan 2 from, I don't know the vendor. They have a lot of different Japan style patterns, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. And the little bitty start, it is in a little bag, teeny tiny little bag. There's a teeny tiny little living space. I don't even know if you'll see it. It has a lot of light stitches. It is a center start. If I have 100 stitches in this, I would be amazed. It is started sometime in December 2023. And this is the little bitty start that I have. We are going to Japan this year, so maybe I'll kit it up and bring that with me and stitch while in Japan. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when that is actually something I actually need to decide on. Almost done. I have 3 more WIPs. So this next one is not cross stitch, it is black work. And I have made so many mistakes in this. It's not even funny, but it's of a tree, so who cares? It doesn't have to be completely perfect. But I love the design. It is so easy to follow, and I'm just replacing what is written in the pattern for what I happen to have that is not DMC. I have one DMC color, however, because the brown I had started using disappeared. I don't know where it is. I have not found it, so it's somewhere. I don't know where. Or my dog ate it. I doubt it. He doesn't eat floss. But it's somewhere. So I do have one DMC in this pattern, and this is what I have so far. Up close, you can see I don't have anything to put behind it. Okay. And with all the little beads. Yep. And this is going to be one of 4 patterns. This is the Tree of Life Spring. And the pattern is from a book that I won from, let's see, so they are called Dom et Lily Creations. They are from France. They also do hand-dyed fabrics, threads. They do a subscription box, which you can do as well, and also fabric of the month, I think. And I love watching what they do, so I entered and happened to win a book, which one of them, the woman of the pair, she released, and her name is Melanie Koof. This is the book. and it is black work embroidery in color, all in English, and it is really, really beautiful. Lots and lots of beautiful designs. And in here, I can't show you the chart, but I should be able to show you the preview picture that she has in here to show you what it will look like. So here is the whole collection when it is done. All 4 trees, and this tree here is what it will look like. I'm sorry, I have windows and the sun has reached my 3rd and final window. Yeah, these all look really fun. These have been such fun to stitch. There's mistakes everywhere, but I think you can't really tell. Don't think it's suitable for 40 count, which I'm doing it on, but as your first black work 3rd count, I'm doing it 1/2, but maybe it's just that I can't count. And I would love to see a stitcher who actually can, because eventually we all just can't count. So next to last project is the companion piece I have started to Goddess of Coffee, which is Goddess of Tea, also from Unconventional Cropped Stitch. The artist is Echo Chowdernick. This is what it will look like when it is finished. This was also part of the starts that I did 2023 for my advent calendar. This is the bag that I made for it. And this is all I've done. I don't even have to unfold it anymore. That's it. Not even a page finish. But yeah. But it's a really great pattern. I'm sure it'll be absolutely stunning and amazing once it's finished. Love the artwork. Yep. So I'm sure it'll be great. This is my son's Christmas present that he bought me because I won one. Yeah, my husband said he would never buy me one because it's not going to ever enter our house. But my son bought me one for Christmas. So, and it's amazing. I love it. Last WIP. I think. Yes, last WIP. This is of my absolute favorite fandom ever. I absolutely love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can come at me all you want. I don't care. I love them. They're amazing. My favorite version is the 2003 version and Michael Bay version. Don't care. Still love them. They were amazing. Too bad there aren't any more movies in that universe coming out, but it was fun while it lasted. I am going to do all 4 turtles from this shop on the same fabric. The way they are done really lends itself to being that way. And this one is started the 6th of December 2023. They will all be done on a 28 count even weave, and the first one I am doing is Michelangelo. The pattern, however, I think has him named as Mike. Needle minder is again from Stitch Bunny, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. Yep. And this is what I have done so far. He's a little bit of a priority this year to get a little bit more done on him. He's not that big. It only goes to somewhere over here. It's not his full figure. So yeah. And I'll do him and one over here, one down here, and the last one over here. So I have enough fabric to do all four on the same, and they're all the similar style. However, they have different parts of them cut off, so they lend themselves to being 2 by 2. And of course, I have it in a TMNT back. And as you can see behind me, I have 4 of the IDW Ultimate Turtles collection. I do not have all of them. I need to probably see if I can find the rest. I think there are 2 more volumes. I have the first volume of the new IDW version. Usagi Yojimbo. I have the collector, the versions where they've collected all of his works. I actually do have the first volume. I am currently reading it. And I also have the 40th anniversary collection in hardcover. It came out this year, last year I mean. Yep. So that is my absolute favorite. I have quite a few Turtles patterns. I actually had someone custom paint a TMNT pattern artwork for me so that I could then convert it to cross stitch. I have yet to start it. I have run it through a pattern maker, and it is huge. It turned out to be huge, which I don't care. I will start it eventually, and I want it on my wall eventually. But I also don't want a gazillion whips. I can't handle it. It becomes too overwhelming for me, and I can't. So, what are my plans and how do I make things work for me? I journal. I kind of do it like a bullet journal, but also not, from what I've understood. It's not the traditional bullet journal style, but I do take aspects from that bullet journaling. I have WIPs that I want to start. I have certain WIPs that are planned to start. One of them is a kit that I bought where I have swapped the fabric. So one of the kits I have from Design Works, and this is the pattern. It's a beautiful pattern. I thought it was an okay fabric. It wasn't Ada. There are beads in this, and it is called the Flute Player from Design Works. And it is in a lovely bag, also from Stitchamajig. This is the back. And on the inside, she has embroidered a crane in brown. And these are the threads. A lot of yellow. And the fabric I chose to change to is an even weave from Coffee Craft Fabrics. It is 18 by 27 inches, 32 count, so it'll be like a 16 count. It is a purple mottled fabric, like so. And I will do it 2/1, so it'll fit. And the fabric is really soft and not too busy, so she will still take full center stage on this fabric and look absolutely amazing. So when will I start something? Well, I'm doing WIPGO. However, my board is different from a lot of others. I'm going to change my Windows kit. So my WIPGO board has absolutely no designated pattern or amount of time I need to spend on something, or not even prompts. So the only thing I have on my WIPGO board is a stitch number from 100 to 2,500 stitches, and I have decided to use most of them, if not the entire board, to work on my Haid stitch along, so I know I keep it continuously moving forward so I can reach my goal. And so my WIPGO board looks like this, and it is a Dutch door, so you can see my goals for this year and last year. But my WIPGO board looks like this, and I used a wheel to randomize how many stitches are in each space. I have kept number 13 as a free space. And I will track the months, what numbers I called that month, and if I reach my goal. These will also be in green, and also here to track if I get bingo. And when I get bingo, I have decided to reward myself to start something. And I have quite a few patterns I want to start. So I will show you. I have actually, I wonder where I have a few patterns I've forgotten to show you actually. But I will show those in a different one, I think, because I need to find them. They're somewhere in my craft room and it looks awful. But I have Lord Libidin's Epic Pokemon Gen 1 pattern started in the max color version that someone had charted out, the extended one. So she charted Lord Libidin's first version as a max color, and I'm taking the extended version, which Lord Libidin has done, and then taking the max color version and recharting the bits outside of the max color version, which I have in Markup RXP. And so I will get the extended version with all the Pokemon still in a max color version. But yeah, but none of the Pokemon are like cut off at like just the head or something. So it looks a bit nicer, I think. I also have started a Amy Stewart pattern. I have started the World Travel Bookshelf, normal version, normal size, and maybe I'll regret it, but it is huge as it is, and I think it'll be fine as it is. And since it's so big, it will probably never be finished and up on my wall, but oh well. I'm only 37, so it's possible. Yeah. But my goals for this year are to, so Jelly World, which is the Haid Stitch Along, I want to get that to 50%. Diner Dreams, I want to finish 4,510 stitches, which is a page finish. And then I want to finish 30 Pokemon, which is these boxes. And I want to finish After the Rain, so I can show it finished at the next Essex Leon's Retreat. And last year I got all these goals done. These two I decided UFO, and then I just couldn't do any more because it was too much. So those are my goals. Other patterns I have that I want to start that are also kind of kitted up, but they don't have their own bags, is a Sal from the Tiny Modernist, which she did one year. Sorry, my son has decided he needs to move around. And this is the Words to Live By series, full chart. This Sal is finished forever and ever ago, but I saw it and I really like how it looks, and it's like on the black fabric and it looks like a chalk artwork, so I like how that looks. And another one I have as a possibility to start is a pattern and I have fabric already chosen for this as well. And the pattern, the designer is WIPGO. She is on Instagram. This is another inspiration from I Stitch Birds. Laura showed this. She has also started hers. She is working here by the windows, I believe. I would probably start in a corner and work across and then down like I usually do, because that makes sense to me and that's how my brain works. Another pattern I have, I own all these patterns that I'm showing you are patterns I own, so I don't need to buy them, is this one. And it is Nadezhda Gavrilenkova, and the artist is Tatiana Verkovskaya, and it's beautiful. It is Dragon Dance of Lake Ducks. And another one I have to start perhaps is this one. It is Koi Pond Sampler. I like samplers and Quakers, but they have to have like a certain aesthetic. I don't like the historical reproductions or anything like that. Those aren't my jam, really. But like a modern spin or take on it, sure. And the Koi Pond Sampler is from Sprouting Lupine. And the last pattern I have focused in on as a possible start is Princess Leia, and it is artwork did by Karen Hallion, titled Rebel, and this is charted by someone else for her because she does not stitch herself. But a lot of us stitchers have been asking for it to be made into cross-stitch patterns, so several different artworks of hers have been made into cross stitch patterns. I own quite a few of them. There are some new ones I haven't yet to purchase because yes, I do want to stitch them, and I would also love to stitch them all on a huge piece of fabric, or do kind of maybe a quilt, a patchwork style thing. But this is the one I so far really want to start. And I think everything out here is stitched. I'm not sure about this black border here, but I know this one is stitched. But I do have quite a few patterns. I mean, you can see I have quite a few patterns to choose from. But these are the ones so far I have decided are my focus pieces that I would like to start. I have February from Cricut Collection also to start now that I have finished January. I think I have March as well. Yep. So I'll show you how I journal, and that'll be it. So, like I said, I do bullet journal-ish. So this is this week's spread, for example. So this is for this week. And we have so-called red days where we're free from work. Monday was one such day, and Tuesday, Wednesday I had off from work anyway, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sundays are always a red day here in Sweden, and these are tasks I need to do. I have written what I stitched on and how many stitches, and I am doing some games to help me keep up with things and keep me motivated. So I'm doing a game called Safari, which is held by Fun with Cross Stitch, and in that game you build a base camp, and there are 3 levels of your base camp. You can also go out and do a safari, but for me, I am quite a perfectionist and I want things done in a certain order. So for me, I want my base camp done to level 3 completely, and then I can move on to the animals, because each animal also has 3 levels of stitching per level, and there are quite a few animals, so I'm doing one thing at a time. So for now, I'm focusing on my base camp, and I'm at level 2, so for now I have decided 3 goals per week is enough to write down and keep track of. So this week, for example, I have tower building, first aid, and safari vehicles. Each of them needs 1,500 stitches for level 2 to be complete. I had none of them started. I have, however, stitched 1,526 stitches for tower building, so that goal is complete. I will now move on to first aid, and I have designated the Pokemon pattern to that, so it will get work done on it, and also I will start working towards my goal, which is to get 30 Pokemon done this year. The next goal I have decided on is for travel bookshelf, also to get some work on it done. I don't think I touched it last year, or if I did, it was very, very little. So for safari vehicles, level 2, 1,500 stitches, I will put into travel bookshelf. I am then with WIPGO, as it's pretty much my head sew, the stitches, I count them after the first of that month that they are meant to be done in. So for this month in January, I got 100 and 1400, so a total of 1500 stitches, and those have been both complete. I did a lot of work on it, and I'm still not at 1%. But oh well, I'll get there. So I'm also part of another game, also held by Fun with Cross Stitches, which is a holiday in Australia. And they have, so you choose a level, and then you also go from town to town, from point A to point B. Along the way, you have activities, fuel stops. There are photo ops to do along the way, and there's also photo ops that are off the beaten track. And for each thing, you have a different number of stitches to stitch. So I have written down so far the towns and the last part of the activity I needed to do, which I have tracked down here. So T is for town, A is for activity, P is for photo op, which I completely forgot in the beginning, so I've missed that one. So the first one that we could come to was of the big boxing crocodile. Completely missed that. So I'll do it now. And as you can see, the goals are, for some of them, are quite few, 50 all the way up to 500. We had to reach Pine Creek. And to reach Catherine is 450 stitches. So I'm working on that. I have that in pencil, and I'm using the Haid Sal only for this one right now. And for these, I'm trying to do different projects on. Just so I can mix and match a little bit, but I'm relatively monogamous. I don't like to switch patterns too much during a day or during a week. But that's for an example. So for next week, for example, I do have that ready to go. So here I have my safari stitches. So I do a wheel, which I can show you. So I have the Tiny Decisions app on my phone, and on that I have two different wheels. So I have focus projects and next project to focus on, which is kind of for my safari stitches. And I go between one and the other. So my focus projects for this year are these. I have already drawn Pokemon, which is why that's blacked out. And the next one is Japanese Garden. And then on the other wheel, I have all my projects on. And Goddess. So those are the wheels that help me choose what I use for which one. But for next week, for example, it's just a normal week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I work evening on Wednesday to remind me. My husband comes home, which is the star. He's going out of town for school. I have room to write what I stitch on. And then over here I have my holiday stitches. So I think for next week, instead of moving from town to town so much, I want to focus on getting up to date with the photo ops, and those are 300 stitches each. I do have quite a few towns to go to my first fuel stop, however, so I have, just in case, I have photo ops, 4 of them, and I have space for 4 towns, which I will write in. It depends on how much I get done this week. And then I have up here objectives. Again, it depends on how much I get done this week, which of this week's I move over. I can show you previous weeks, for example. So this was an example of 1 week's spread that I was trying out, keeping track of whether that was not doing that again. Trying to keep track of steps, taking care of myself, that was also fell by the wayside. Daily trackers is not something for me. I am just not that interested in following that. So yeah, no. So this is an example. I was in London with my family this week, and the stickers I put in on days I didn't stitch at all. I put in some of the things we did, different tickets, whatnot. This is from the Memorial Tower for the London Fire. I went all the way up to the top here. All of those stairs, which is quite a few. 311 steps. That was a lot of work. So this is a different week spread that I did. These are quite small boxes, so for me I found that I actually like to check off things, and for me, if I don't write it down, it's easy that I don't remember to do it. So yes, it sounds really simple and stupid, but things like making my bed, making sure everything is dished, and I have cleaned the tables and taken out something from the freezer to cook for dinner either the same night or the next night, things like that. I just don't do it. I don't help out clean if I don't write it down, and so I have found, and I've tried digital apps keeping track of what I stitch digitally, but I forget to do it, and then I feel bad that I didn't do it, so I forget even more, and I just put it off. It's like, oh, now it's so much, and it's not as fun for me. So when I do journal, like I can doodle, I can draw, I can be messy and write down my thoughts, but I have found that the spreads I like are where I have one half is what I need to get done, tasks for me, even like daily tasks, I write them in. And then for my stitching, the goals, the games that I'm playing, I write them in. And when I have WIPGO calls that I haven't done yet, those will be written in. Like for this week, I hadn't finished the WIPGO call for 1400 stitches, so that was written in. Yeah, those are the things that work for me. I have written in things like, I have written down what needs to get cleaned when. So I have daily, I have weekly, I have monthly, bi-monthly, every 6 months, and so on. So I do have those sorts of things, and then just to keep track, and also to make sure I know what I'm doing and my husband knows what he needs. He keeps track of things digitally. That works for him. So we sit and plan. We've planned for a whole month. So this is my January spread, where I've written in things I need to remember. when I'm mopping the floor. I do role play, so I've written that in. When we do laundry, when we go grocery shopping, that sort of thing. And yeah. So this is a weekly spread I'm also quite fond of. But yeah, this is how I think I've pretty much concluded that I like having one spread for my week and one for everything else. And for me, keeping track of my economy, like writing down what I have to spend, means that I don't spend as much. So I'm hoping that will help keep me from buying too much all the time, because I have patterns galore. I do not need more. Will I get more? Yeah. I have quite a few I want to buy, but I'm trying to not get those. So yeah, I have things like, so this was my memory page from the last Essex Needles retreat that I did, what I got, some of the games, my flight tickets, my name tag, picture of what I bought, which was a lot. I have lists of all my WIPs here. I've tried to keep them in like categories. So I have like other fancy WIPs, which is like my fancy ladies, seasonal, which isn't very many, full coverage. Yeah. I have fandom WIPs, and they are surprisingly not very many. I do have a few things I've started that are finished, which is in green. Not many, again, since I started keeping track. I have found that I am not particularly fond of this particular type of bullet journal. It's not very thick paper, so if you want to draw things with markers, like alcohol markers, it bleeds through. So it's hard to, so you can do it, it works fine if you keep to like water-based pens. Like here, for example, these are water-based, they have not leaked through, but these trees that I doodled are in alcohol ink, and if I go to the next page, you can see exactly where I drew them. So it's not bleeding through, it's like ghosting or whatever it's called, but yeah, I would not recommend that. So when this is actually full, I'm going to go for a different brand, but so far I have quite a few pages to go. I have a bit to fill first. It might go fast, it might not, but yeah, I'll keep up with that. So, one more thing before I go. I do watch a lot of Flosstube. Sometimes sporadically, sometimes like, as soon as they have a video. And I figured I would shout them out, so to share the love of people I watch and love watching. So first I've written down, I don't have, these are all the people I watch, just a few. So there's Jamie from Crafty Gaming Jamie. Lone, a random stitcher, she's from Denmark. Darren, who is Dizzy Stitcher. Laura, who's Finnish but lives in Australia, and her channel is I Stitch Birds. Emily of Crafty Emily. Stuart from Stuarts and Stitches, and Sharon, of course, with Fun with Cross Stitch, who is behind my 2 games that I'm really enjoying, and they are a lot of fun. And they will all be linked in the box down below, so you can check them out if you don't know them. And next time I can write down a few others that I follow, because I do have quite an extensive list. So far I only have 2 YouTubers that I follow when it comes to journaling. If that's of interest, I can share them in my next video. But yeah, now I'm going to say bye.